Hi, my name is Jason Bryant. This is my wife Rebecca Bryant. She'll be demonstrating for me today as I coach her through the exercises. Today I will be doing regressions of the kettlebell swing, ending with a full kettlebell swing. Today's date is October 3rd, 2019. So the first thing we're going to do is start off with a piece of PVC pipe, or as we have today, a broom handle. She's going to place this behind her back. And I'm using this to just teach a hip hinge with a flat back. I don't want to see any rounding in the back. This is like a very, very introductory thing for maybe a young kid that I'm just starting to work with, that they just can't quite understand how to keep their back flat. So what I'm looking for in this is that the hips, she hinges at the hips, has soft knees, that the knees are not locked out, and then we have a fairly flat back throughout the whole movement. Okay, so she's just going to bend over just far enough that I see the hips drive backwards, hinging at the hips with soft knees. Go ahead and stand back up. Give me about 3 or 4 of those. Looking for that nice flat back, neutral head position, and that they're not trying to squat when they're doing this. I'm looking for that hip hinge, not the squat. Okay. Next, we'll go ahead and take that PVC pipe around front. Now I'll instruct them to keep the PVC pipe close to their body, still doing a hip hinge, still looking for the same things: flat back, hips going back, and soft knees, but not a squat. So now we're going to do an RDL with that same PVC pipe. So go ahead and lower the pipe. I'm looking for them to have flat back, so if they can get to about mid-shin and keep that flat back, awesome. If all they can do is get just below the knees, that's okay for now. We'll work on their mobility later to be able to get further down. Go ahead and stand back up. Give me about 4 of those as well. So same thing, looking for the hip drive, making sure they're not turning it into a squat, and that we have a flat neutral back. Okay, next we're going to be doing an RDL with a kettlebell. Okay, so now she's going to bend over like she was doing a deadlift, pick up the bell. She'll go ahead and stand up with it. Now, for all of the time going forward, I just need that bell to get past their knees, or if they can get to mid-shin, keeping their back flat, great. Okay, go ahead and give me a few of those. Looking for a lot of the same cues we were with the PVC RDL. Flat back, hips driving back, knees nice and soft. Okay, still I do not want to, go ahead and stand up for me. Give me a squat. I don't want to see them squatting down with it. That's not what we're trying to accomplish with a kettlebell swing. It mimics the RDL a lot closer. That's why I'm choosing to use the RDL to go into the kettlebell swing. Go ahead and give me a couple more RDLs, please. Okay, good. So now you can go ahead and set it down. We're using the RDL with the kettlebell just to add some weight, and it can be quite a bit more weight than they can even swing. So if we want to load them and teaching that hip hinge, this is a great exercise to use to start programming in that hip hinge. Okay, for the next one, we're going to be using a rubber band to work on our pull through to program in that hip hinge. I like using this one for athletes that just either don't have the coordination to do the full swing yet, or just are not confident enough to do the full swing. However, we can still load that hip hinge and do it fairly safely in a less dynamic fashion. So we'll do the same movement: soft knees, hips go back, back stays flat, then she can forcefully stand up, popping those hips forward as she stands. Okay, and relax. So this can be done with a rubber band like we are using today. We just have a rubber band tied around a squat rack, or you can also use a cable and pulley system. If you do that, I found that it's a lot easier to do it with like an air resisted system than it is to do with a stack system, because the stack weights may not give you enough room to be able to get the full movement of the hip hinge in there once they step away from the machine. Next, we'll be using the kettlebell to do a hike to a single swing and then place the bell back down on the ground. Okay, so for this, the bell will be placed out in front of the athlete. They'll bend over as if they were doing the RDL, just like we set up earlier, but now the bell's going to tilt towards them. I'm going to instruct her to swing the bell up high into the inseam of their shorts, and then powerfully drive their hips forward to swing the bell forward. Then they'll bring it back in between the hips and place it back down on the ground. Go ahead and give me one full swing. Okay, place it down. Give me another one. more powerful hips at the top. Good, and relax. So with this, what I'm looking for is we're starting to get the swing programmed in now. This is our first time actually swinging it. So without having the athlete having to do multiple swings, okay? We can do one swing, have them set it down, make a couple corrections, have them swing another one, a few more corrections. I like using this because it's nice and safe, nice and easy, and a good progression going into our final deal, which is a full kettlebell swing, which we'll get into now. So, same exact setup. She'll pull that bell towards her. Now she's gonna give me 5 full swings on this one. Powerful hips each time. Good. I only want that bell, now she's using a pretty light bell today, so it's traveling pretty far, but I only want that bell going up as high as the hips drive that bell forward. I don't want the athlete using their arms to pull the bell overhead. I really just want it to go up as high as they can with the drive from the hips, okay? So before we get into our next set, a few things I'm looking for on there is that we've got her feet somewhat straight forward, okay? Soft knees, soft hips. Hips are gonna hinge back and drive forward, okay? And with a swing, you always wanna be sure you're on a nice, clean surface and a surface that is not slippery. We're using this rubber mat today because I don't want, once the athlete picks that weight up, I don't want any problems to happen with their feet slipping on them. Okay, good. All right, go ahead and relax. A few safety concerns with the actual swing itself is because it is such a dynamic move, I don't want the athletes to ever drop the weight or slam the weight down on the ground, and also be mindful of where they're swinging it so they're not hitting themselves or hitting another athlete that may be walking by them. And whenever we do this in a weight room, I want to be sure that I'm giving each athlete plenty of room so no one's behind them, no one's in front of them, and there's no safety concerns there. So that is all of my progressions to the kettlebell swing. I chose these exercises because these are the ones I find myself using the most. There are a bunch of different exercises you can choose other than these. However, these are the ones I find myself using the most. Thank you.